Glads, we did it. We finally did it. The trophy is ours. But everything didn't go as smoothly and as straightforward as you might think. And to find out what exactly went wrong, because something went really wrong, stay till the end of this video to find out. But I am very happy to tell you, Glads, that the national Spanish ranking has recently been updated, and I have some really good news, and that is that I'm ready to make the next big step into the next level of tournaments. But I'll tell you about it in the end of the video. Let's leave the sweetest for last. But for now, what's up guys, welcome back to Gladiators Tribe. My name is Grisha and this is your Glad's favorite series from 0 to ATP player. A series where I go from having absolutely no ranking whatsoever to becoming a tennis professional and competing in professional tournaments, winning ATP points and all the good stuff. As you Glads might remember, I promised you to win this massive trophy back a few months ago, and this is a trophy that you get for winning 5 one-day tournaments. However, back in January when I won my 5th title and I was meant to get this trophy, I was told that it's supposed to be 5 one-day tournaments in 1 calendar year, which meant that I had to pretty much start the whole challenge over from the beginning. And that's exactly what I did, and today I'm delivering on my promise. Since then, I've played 7 more tournaments, and I have to admit I've lost more tournaments than I expected. But now let's flash back to the day when I finally won that 5th tournament, or more precisely, my 9th tournament. What is up, Glads? And this is attempt number 3 to finally close this challenge that we've been running for what seems like absolutely ages at this point. We're playing another one-day tournament in about an hour. This time something is different because in the draw that we're gonna be playing, I am actually the number 1 seed, and hopefully, very much hopefully, this will mean that taking this trophy will be easier than in the previous 2 times, because as you know, in the previous 2 tournaments that I played, I actually lost in the final. It has become quite a bit of a struggle and quite a bit of a challenge, but today this is about to change. We're gonna win this trophy, we're gonna set it up in the studio, or we're gonna be done with this challenge and be ready to move on forward. But yeah, now let's pack up the bag and head out to the courts. Oh, getting rather warm in Barcelona these days. Time to sweat has come. I was doing the warm-up just now, and I was swinging my arms to warm up shoulders, and I had my phone in my hand, so I like swung my arm and yeah, basically just injured myself just now doing the warm-up. Damn it, it's bleeding now. Alright, it was time to play my first match and the second round of the tournament, and I was really hoping that my cut finger wasn't gonna affect it, but I mean, I wasn't too worried because, you know, I'm the first seed. So the first match went through pretty smoothly. My serve was performing really well and the forehand wasn't letting me down either. I was playing pretty aggressive and most of the shots were landing inside the lines. I was producing a lot of winners and most of the net approaches were ending with a 1 point. This way I took the first set with no stress and a 4-love on the scoreboard. Second set was going in a pretty similar fashion. A lot of aggressive forehands, good serves and often net approaches. What has slightly surprised me though was that unlike the usual, my backhand was really off and I couldn't seem to find the sweet spot on the racket. The shots were landing short and I wasn't managing to open angles as sharp as I usually do. That was kind of disappointing, but my forehand performance was alright and we managed to close the second set with the same score with no problem.
No matter the 1 hour delay, but like actually 1 hour, that's crazy. Honestly, on a tournament like this, 1 hour delay is a lot. But anyways, took the W, 4-love, 4-love. Don't want to say that I was feeling my best tennis, definitely not. But it got the job done, that's what matters. And yeah, serve wise I'm feeling pretty good, but I know where that's coming from the challenge. If you haven't seen the 1000 serves challenge that I did, I think last week I posted the video, check out. That's not last week because I'm not posting it this week, but yeah, anyways, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Up over here, or up over here, hold on, over here. and yeah, gonna go have something to eat quick, and hopefully I have some time to edit. I'll see you in a bit, boys and girls.
I did have something to eat, and I did have some time to edit. By the way, Glads, I was actually editing a video about Fantium, and for those of you who don't know what Fantium is, let me quickly explain. So Fantium is a platform that allows you to invest in pro tennis players and take a percentage of their prize money, as well as take advantage of the perks that come with the investment, such as box tickets to Grand Slams, private calls, as well as meeting the players in real life. You can invest in players who have already made it on the professional tour, or those who are currently struggling to rise to the top and become the world number ones, who are still in that tennis rat race, struggling to get those points, get the prize money. And if you choose the second option, it's actually very cool, because not only do you have the chance of profiting from your actual investment, you're also helping a potential future world number one to achieve their dream. And honestly, that's a huge one for me, because, you know, I've been in that struggle, in that rat race, struggling to win matches, struggling to win prize money, pay for hotels, food, and coaches and trainings and whatever. And for me, this is a really cool platform that kind of connects players to their fans and gives opportunities to the young uprising tennis players. If you want to find out more about how Fantium exactly works, you can check out the video up here where I go into a little bit more detail on how the platform works, how to invest into players, buy tokens, etc. But if you already want to scout through the platform and see how it works for yourself, the link to Fantium is going to be down in the description below this video. By the way, this is not financial advice. But now, I think it's time to play the semi-final, where we'll be facing the third seed of the tournament, who took out his previous opponent with a 4-love 4-1 score. So, semi-final then, and I do have to confess, for me to complete this challenge, I ended up having to play 13 tournaments, and I have to say, it does get exhausting, because the players aren't bad at all. Most of the players in the draw play pretty decent tennis, and the finals are never easy, and it's always a fight. The problem with these tournaments for me is that a loss in a match like this one here hurts more than a victory pleases, simply because the reward from winning a match here isn't ATP points or even prize money, it's just national ranking, which is obviously the reason why we're playing these tournaments in the first place, but it still doesn't take away the fact that it gets exhausting. It's not all that bad though, but more on that in the end of the video. For now though, let's focus on the match and bring it to the end. So guys, it's time for the grand finale, and winning this match and beating my next opponent would not only give us that trophy that's standing behind me, but also give us a pretty good amount of points and get us even higher up in the Spanish national ranking. The guy I was facing was actually same age as me, which is pretty unusual for these kind of tournaments. I was pretty confident about this match, even though I really didn't know what to expect, because I know the finals in these tournaments, as I said, are always pretty tough, but I was coming into this match pretty strong. And by the way, Glads, if you're wondering what that SwingVision watermark is that you might see in some of my videos, SwingVision is an app that I use to record myself, whether it's a match or a casual practice, to not only just get the footage of my gameplay or of my highlights, but also to track my performance on court, because SwingVision does a really good job of giving you all the very detailed statistics about your shots, their placement, the speed, the type of shot, and not only gives you the stats on what you do well and what you do not so well, it also uses AI to analyze that footage and sort of give you an advice on what you should work on and what things you should improve. And if you use the link below this video to subscribe to their yearly membership, you will also get a free swing stick, which is very handy to hang your phone up on pretty much any fans to get the optimal angle to get the best results from the app, which is usually, if you buy it separately, is worth like $100. So it's really not a bad deal. But now it's time for the final. Literally from the first point, I could tell that this match was gonna be tough. He had all the shots and was really consistent. The only thing that was absolutely carrying me though was my serve. Again, thanks to 1000 serves challenge that I did some weeks ago. In terms of the level of tennis, it was like going from a futures tournament to an ATP 250, and that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say that finals are always tough in these tournaments. This guy has clearly played futures in the past, and although the match was promising to be a hard one, it was also giving hints for some pretty impressive highlights. It's 1-all in the first set, and the serve is once again helping me take this game with little to no effort. Problem with relying heavily on your serve, however, is that if the serve doesn't deliver for some reason, you're screwed, and that's exactly what happened to me at 2-all. Keeping that game was crucial for winning this set, and unfortunately I didn't manage to do so, and it resulted in a lost first set. I lost the first set, and that was already something very surprising and unusual for me, but if you Glads are still enjoying this video, no matter the lost first set, feel absolutely free to hit that like button and let the YouTube algorithm know that you're actually enjoying this video. This really helps this channel move forward, and yeah, on that, back to the second set. I was pretty pissed, and that anger definitely helped me take the first game, and then I managed to lose the game on my serve one more time, and that was pretty bad. However, the problem this time was that the balls were so used at this point that serving a hurting enough serve was pretty much impossible, and the serve was not giving me the advantage whatsoever, and just like that we were 2-1 down and a game point down. Completing this break gave me an insane mental boost, because this was the first time in the match that I actually broke him, and he seemed to be doubting his own shots, and that was definitely a really good sign for me. I then somehow managed to lose a game on my serve again, absolutely ridiculous, but then he did the same thing, so we were back on track, leading in the correct direction. We then kept exchanging breaks and advancing to the end of the set, finally reaching a score of 4-all and the tiebreak. The emotions were starting to heat up, and you can start hearing some come-ons and some vamoses from both sides of the court. there you go, Glads. We fought to get that second set in our pocket, and actually as I was heading to the bathroom for my toilet break, I asked the referee whether we could switch to new balls, because by the rules of these tournaments, if it comes to a third deciding super tiebreak, you're allowed to get new balls if both of the opponents agree to do so. And when the ref asked my opponent whether or not he wanted to switch to the new balls, he thought for a little bit and then declined, and that really hurt my performance in potential future, because the serve is something that I really take advantage of in my game, and with new balls, serving is way better for me. But I guess if I was on his spot, I would do the same thing, because it totally favors him to play with the older balls, because this way he can return the serve properly. But yeah, nothing crazy or nothing special, just a small little cool and fun detail. But now let's get to that super tiebreak. Coming into the decider super tiebreak, all I could think about is just how good of a match this would be to finish the series on a victory of a tough match, taking that trophy home and being done with this challenge once and for all. But the super tiebreak didn't start as expected. However, no matter the initial low start, I was confident that I could come back, recover, and take the W home, because the pressure was equally distributed between the both of us, and I seemed to be making more confident shots and decisions. But no matter that and my positive expectations about the comeback of the match, we were 9-6 down. But yep, I lost that match. And obviously this wasn't the last tournament that I played, and it was just one of the finals that I actually lost. But I felt like really showcasing you this match and the highlights from it, because I thought it was a pretty cool one and probably one of the best matches that I've played in the entire series. But what happened to the actual last match of the series then? Well, that's actually a story, and a pretty interesting story all on its own, because in the last final that I've played, I was playing a pretty young but pretty good tennis player who I asked whether or not I could film the actual match, and he said yes. I mentioned that it was for YouTube, and he said there wouldn't be any problems. However, when I went to actually set up my camera, his father approached me and said that you're supposed to ask for permission, and I said yes, I'm sorry, I did ask him, but I'll ask you just to make sure. And I was like, can I film this match for YouTube? And he said yes, as long as you pass me the link to the match, in a very sort of fun, joking way. So we start the match, and actually the score in the draw is off. I won the first set 4-2, and there was already some tension building up from all the really close calls that I was kind of seeing inside the court, and just his attitude, because kids at that age, we were all like that, a little bit too confident, and I would even say cocky, and it just makes sense, it's whatever. But the tension was still building up, and in the second set, at the score of 2-all and 40-all on my serve, I serve a first serve, and then a ball comes inside our court while I'm about to serve the second serve, and I say let. That's kind of what the rules say. If you're about to serve the second serve and the ball comes inside the court, you're meant to replay the point. And I wouldn't usually do it, but I wanted a first serve, I wanted an easier 1 point, and plus the attitude was so yeah, I say it's let, and then he starts complaining. He says, no, there's no first serve, you're serving second serve, blah blah blah, whatever, the normal stuff. But then his father comes in, starts shouting, and starts saying that I'm wrong and that we're not doing first serve and it has to be second serve, and it's starting to get really heated up. I decide not to proceed with the discussion and with the arguing, and just serve a second serve. I win the point, and it's now advantage for me. So with my advantage, we play the point, and I'm going to the net. I play the volley, and while I'm at the net, a ball rolls inside our court, and he does a passing shot, and I say we replay the point because the ball has rolled inside the court, and that's what you're meant to do. If a ball rolls inside your court, you just replay the point. But he starts going absolutely crazy, calling me all sorts of words, and insulting and just going insane. But that's also okay. It's not okay. I don't think it's okay, but whatever. But then his father steps in and starts shouting and saying pretty much the same things, but just without the insulting. But what he does is he actually, as he's screaming, he tells me, forget about the video, where is my signed permission? He walks inside the court, takes my camera off the fence, and puts it on the bench. So yes, the situation gets really heated up. It gets to a point where the referee actually comes to us and finishes watching the match to make sure that there's no trouble. But yeah, I end up winning the match with you know, no problems. I get the trophy, but this experience kind of ruined this whole, you know, celebration and the ceremony of receiving this trophy that we Glads have been trying to achieve for so long. But a win is a win, and that's what matters.
Let's go, Glads. The trophy's ours, the medal as well. Finally. Jesus, this was a very long way, but finally got it. Definitely worth it. I don't care. I know that I've spent like 300 euros on just inscriptions to these tournaments, or maybe even more, considering the ones that I didn't actually win. But yeah, I'll see you in the studio, I guess. Let's go.
So now onto the sweet update of the ranking. As the result of the 13 played and 9 won tournaments and this trophy, we have 1,099 Spanish national points, and that not only helps us achieve our second goal of breaking into the top 500 to actually be put on the map of the futures and of the ITF acceptance list system, but also puts us at the 348th spot in the Spanish national ranking. And that means that we're not only opening the doors to entering futures tournaments, but we're also putting ourselves in a place where we're actually able to play those tournaments. So from now on, not only am I going to be looking at the higher level Spanish national tournaments with prize money and more points, but also scouting through some futures ITF tournaments to potentially finally play one in the nearest future, hopefully this summer, but I guess we will see. And to not miss any of the Gladiators on tour videos or any of the videos from Gladiators Tribe, we do a lot of pretty cool content. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get the notifications. But for now, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. My name is Grisha, you're watching Gladiators Tribe, and I will see you Glads in the next one. Bye bye.